Hello everyone, I'm Palpatine001 aka the Senate, and we are back with Cities Skylines 2 and a brand new city, Manukau Ranges, based on a custom map which I will link in the description below. So what has happened to Cape Celeria and Glenbrook? Well, Cape Celeria is has retired out, peaked out at 300,000, and Glenbrook is constantly doing crash to desktop at the moment after the last Castle Order update to the game, and looks like updates to the urban packs as well. So we've just put that on hold. So we're starting with our new city, Manukau Ranges. Now I am looking from south to north, and some of the founding infrastructure is getting underway. But I'm going to turn it back around to basically the predominant direction we're going to be doing. So south, north, east, west. This map is basically a mountain range permeated by two rivers that split. I have looked at split up into basically, as far as the tiles are concerned, three rivers with some island chains at the end. Now I have looked at a dam, probably not the wisest idea because the water's going to go up and back down this end. So maybe not, unless I do a huge big mountain range there as well and do two dams. Maybe not. But if we look at some of the things you have to take into account. First of all is the wind. So the wind is going across this way. So on my map, right to left. So you put your industry always downstream, not upstream, although there could be cases of in here because it will point over that way, away from the main urban development, which I'm looking at the city, probably the city centre here, and other urban development up here, because it follows the rail and road lines. Natural resource-wise, not going to have to worry too much. If I plopped into an oil area, have I? Yep, that'd be typical of me. It's okay. I've got the brush tool to fix that, but basically farming right throughout the valley. Forestry is a bit sporadic, and oil and ore not really there, although we can dig some of it up and I can convert some of this over to oil if need be. Again, just which way is that wind going? That way. So as you can see, I've laid down, starting to lay things down. I've just updated the interchange here. This, obviously, if I wasn't playing with all the tiles unlocked, this would be the starting area. So this is going to be the city centre through here as we go out in all directions. I'm going to probably, the way the the routes are laid out, the intercity routes, you can see where they are coming in from through here, and also out there. So it's probably a good idea to have your shipping port here. Can definitely get cruise terminals back up here again after not having them in Glenbrook. And then you just work out if you don't, you just work out your shipping through there. So yeah, you definitely have a cargo port in here. If you do push your industry out this way for whatever reason, you can also establish another cargo port out here, as well as actually a cruise ship terminal as well. I think they're connected. Yes, they are. I can see them. You might not be able to see them on the map per se. Whoops. Oh, there you go. So you can see. So likely drop the first one in here and have it loop round. This will be a good spot for industry because it's close proximity. Easy to bring rail down. Push your urban form back out there. This is definitely going to be an urban island model, and of course we'll get the highways and roadways all linked up. So 1.0, founding of the city. So it's going to be a bit patchwork first as I check out all the resources. Now another one I do need to check out is find out where my water sources are, because this was not only does it actually water's not going to be a problem because I just pull it off using the pumps. So there's plenty of water to use. The pumps, water towers to back up, and the advanced pumping station. Groundwater is going to be a bit interesting. It's very low and very sporadic to other maps I've done. So this has consequences for in two parts. One is getting the ground pumping stations in if I choose to do so. But also keeping with because I don't like using the fossil fuel plants. If I want to try and sink geothermal, it gets a little bit interesting as well. Now I'm not going to necessarily plop it there because it's going to upset the urban development I want to, but example, it would have to plop in here and then I have to go and truck it round. So if I was looking for the cables, they're all the way up here, although high transmission is fine. That said, I've also got available, as always, it's a good solid windy map. So if I really wanted to, I can always kick off a wind farm to get us going. And then start looking back. I don't know when this is going to have the room for solar. Oh, we might do actually. Pop back, look for geothermal sources. So could easily, given the port's going down here, could easily establish one here, and maybe another couple out here. So yeah, we've got stuff to work with. Water, as I said, is easy to deal with. It also means I've got to deal with the poo. So which way is that going? You see, that flows in, so that's going to push all the poo basically back up, because I think the salient line is here and here. So you gotta watch out where it's actually all forcing it. Yes, your poo pump is actually gonna have to be in a rather interesting spot. So where do I dump it? That's, or you just because it's gonna push all the way back in. So you don't want this particularly going for particularly long. So if the industry's been established out here, and I'm not likely to establish it, it's likely to be sunk in here. I'll hope no one's wanting to establish a house there, or it doesn't require. Ah, there we go. Although again, if I want to establish in a nice bay, yeah, probably it's all beautiful land to build on, and I'm getting stuck on where to build a poo pump. Or I can just do what I've done before, stick it on an island. Yeah, so all those things you have to factor in. So, later on in the series, I'm also going to touch on some standardized zoning. So Cities Skylines does it. You basically, these are your zones and that is it. Rather similar to, nope, not that one. Try that again. This one. Similar to Japan and Germany, but we'll cover that later on. First priority is getting everything founded. So let's focus on that first. As I said, we're establishing everything up. This is good. I always put this in first because this is, it does point out the city centre. I might build the city centre first, but it does get the intercity traffic going. That I need to get residents in here for a start, which is certainly helpful. How big is that? You just got to remember it has to go through an upgrade. Okay, so what we'll do is I'll switch the mic off for a moment and I'll get some of the foundational stuff up and then come back and then we'll have a chit chat and a summary on why I have done this. Okay, so that has got a port established, so we know where that is going after some expensive, well, would have been very expensive, but some expensive modifications to the terrain to get it to work. But we will get it to work. Let me just set. And that just gets the shipping lines established up. So we have got the port. Established, so that is a good start. And I am noticing the graphics tears and that it's been pretty bad since the update, probably causing the issues with Glenbrook amongst other things, but we soldier on. So again, with 1.0, this is all about establishing your founding infrastructure and work out where everything is going. So there's the port. And there's the railway. Now it's only a single line in. What I will do is I will create a set of stacking to stack this all up. Now the next thing we need to do is shoot back over and establish this railway line. Now I don't like the single line business, so what I'm going to do is take this all out, which might seem counterintuitive, but you'll see why later on that it actually works. So we'll shoot to the rail. Parallel tool on. I shouldn't have curved on at the moment. Ah, so that's a single one coming out. That's good to know. Okay, so what we need to do is connect. Oh, I see. We're actually trundling up. We're actually trundling up a hill. So the lines I want for that then, because a set of lines are going to come out through here to connect down to here. So a nail, one line will bend round. This one will go out. Okay, just out of curiosity, I'll keep that as a single line. And these ones are going to go up and over. I'm going to bend these ones around. So he's going to form a bit of a loop, and one's going to come down through here to establish itself in here. So what we will do is go back, and I'm going to work on the railway lines for the next few moments. So we will be back in a moment after doing these railway lines. Okay, so that has... We're starting to get the rail lines going out in the... Sorry, let's try that again. We are getting the rail lines associated. Now, they do cause a bit... You would have noticed they cause a bit of a severance, so be it. But they're also going to be handy at moving people around more efficiently, because we just don't have this... We're not going to have the space for expansive highway systems. Where the highways will be used is we're going to be limited in size, especially when it comes to the interchanges outside the city centre. So we'll be looking at more of these highways than rather these big sodders, although they do make good intercity connections. Before we proceed further though, because you've got to remember we're also going to bring in the roads and interchanges as such. In fact, I'm hoping I haven't just pickled myself by... Can easily fit that in. That's right, because that really needs, because I'm not running a road, I'm not running a highway up there, so not required as such. Okay, I distract. One thing I do need to check though is where is it? Yes, so we do have small train platforms in that. So I'm just going to lay out the small options that we have. So we don't always need to use the big one. And then I think that's the central one I've just used earlier. For endpoints, got this nice little number here. That is from the Mediterranean set. And of course we've got the local train station from Modern Architecture, which is also here as well. So we have a range of stations available to us as well. It's a big one. Oh, and plus I forgot, we do have you have the Historic Central Station, which not using that one. And where's the normal one? Oh, of course, you got the French. Did I put the Frenchie in? And then, of course, you've got the normal vanilla one as well, which I'll just... I don't need to slap down. We've all seen it before. So as I said, you've got a variety of stations to pick from. So this is the German one. So extra platform, rear exit, which as I said, is unique, which means you can exit from the other side. None of the other train stations you can. So maybe it should have been this one, because as I said, you can shove in the rear exit. You can put in the extra platform, and you can do that. So it gives me 1, 2, 3 and a half to my 1, 2, 3 and a. So maybe, or we just do that elsewhere. So yeah, you're gonna be reliant to come up and over for that one. This little French train station. Quite a neat little number. Quite a neat. That could be very well used where I need a where I've got stations running in parallel, tracks running in parallel. We've got the medium train station with its station services, so that's and ticket machines. So again, that's for a single track. We then have the Eastern European train station. No upgrades with this one, so it's just as is where is. We have this tiny little station, which all you can do is upgrade. As you can see if I zoom in. Ticket machines. Now that is real cute. Just out of curiosity. Oh yeah, it is too. I just can't see it behind the thing. We have the Mediterranean Train, which is a good one because that's an endpoint station. So you can put on extra platforms, which also widens it up. And if you really want to be fancy, you can put a good one for an endpoint. And then you have the local train station, which has all sorts to it. So you can add a subway interface, which is there. Oh, that graphics chose better. Now at the moment, this one does have its subway interface built in. Of course, don't forget your parking fees. You can add a modern train station entrance. Oh, doesn't that look nice? Should actually turn it around. So at the moment it's just, yeah, not much to look at. So why don't we give it an upgrade? And that is somewhat of an upgrade. Because it also increases your parking. Platform roof. Yeah, why not? Let's keep the citizens dry. And, oh, I can put in extra platforms. Ooh, that's a fair few. So that becomes quite big quite quickly. But there you go. So those are all the train stations we have got. And now, while I remember, I'm going to do this. And the reason for that is we are going to have trams. What you do here is it creates a single lane each direction, and guess what you get to do? Go to bus, upgrade, just like that, and then just to get the parking out of there. There you go. And if I want to add tram stops, that comes later. So you basically have created a transit mall. As for the parking there, it's the furthest. Right, back to the railway lines. So I'm going to finish these off first. Now, where they're going to go out this way. So this line is going to bend round and come out to serve. I have one line going this way to serve this island, and another coming out this way to serve down here, because that is some very good real estate, and I could possibly loop it up. If anything, I could actually bring two of these around. Now, what I should do while I'm here is get this back. Jack it up the 10 meters. That is meant to be on. Because I'm going the other way. Fun. Okay, it's just... Where is that track? Is it going to remember it that far out? Not quite, so what we can do is just drop it a little bit more. Oh, well, I'll single line it in a minute. Should be using the straight too, so I don't create unexpected curves in unexpected places. Try that again. 10 meters, which is the standard height to get over most roads. Nice. Very nice. And then drop that down. Whoop. 0, 0. I have effectively double-tracked this out, because it is going to go its own separate direction. So that is going to effectively take off and go this way, while the other one is likely to go back up through here. So this guy will pop up in here. This guy's going to pop around and go out the door. So if anything, we're going to run out of track lines, which is somewhat a somewhat an irony. See, this one merges back up into a single line, so he'll go up the hill. And we're probably going to have to do more terrain. So he'll pop up. One will go over this way. So both will go over this way. And one will go out this way. And one's likely to flow back this way. So it's quite an integrated rail network that has been set up. So I'm going to continue pottering away on this. And we can be right back in a moment. Okay, that has set that up, and I gotta also remember we've got cargo to work with as well, but we'll get to that closer to the time as the city continues to develop. So going out this way, we'll get these guys set up, but first of all I think we'll do the road bridges first. And then I'll continue setting up the infrastructure off screen, ready to get the zones and all that down in the next part. So roading wise, we'll switch over, is we've got the main highway that comes through here and out this direction. We've also got another one that connects here, and then this big one that goes this way. Now what I'm doing is just setting up some extra highways, one to cover through here, which will cover all the way down. Cover down here, as well as through here as well. And then we also have a highway going up this side of the river to the and ready to come on this side through here. This is it. This is just setting up all the local roads. I think we'll be also running it that way as well to connect up. But the idea is you don't want them playing bypasses on you. You want them to use the main interchanges. So what we will do first is set up the two main roads. What are these? 3. Set this up for parallel. Set for curved. It's too far away, so what we'll do is set him up. There we go. Just the wrong one, really. Make sure this is set up properly. And we'll just fix that those little bits out. Oh, the graphics tiers are awful. So that road's going to feed into here, and we'll have another interchange basically over here somewhere, just a little short one. And of course we'll have the industry one here, which I will quickly set up. This map is more conducive towards rail and transit than massive highways. So you don't want highways sprawling willy-nilly everywhere. because you just run out of room real fast. Do we really want... Given that's feeding down into the port, that might be the more prudent one to do, because they're just going to get backed onto that. Yep. So yeah, that will actually work nicely, and we'll just switch over. Go to that. And parallel. Go. Curve, please. So using the guidelines to... Which one's that connecting me to? Left or right? So that brings him down. And of course this brings this guy all the way down to connect into the industrial section. I should have my terrain guiding tool on so I know. And back to intersections. I don't think we... Huh. Ironically, could work for the port, or it would backfire spectacularly. I don't like the single point interchanges. They get you into a lot of trouble. In reality, the ports actually don't, because of the way it is, ports actually don't generate that much. This would actually be overkill to what you need to do. This would be actually more than enough to serve the purpose of the port. Although that said, a roundabout will equally do so because it's actually technically the end of the highway. So what I will do is go back to highways. Parallel doesn't quite work in this case. Ooh, actually be careful because that's actually connecting multiple aspects to it, because you not only have you got the industry, you've also got well, it's all industry. So go back to the intersections again. See, you got to remember the highway actually technically runs out here, so those create an absolute traffic nightmare to try and figure out. And of course, actually no, roundabout would do it. So shoot back over. Roundabout, get the biggest one you can get. And then just connect these highways in here. And there you go, and that sorts that out. So the first thing we do then is bring this guy up. Not that one. So there's your port link. Now that railroad is, where's the rails? There. So I actually have to bend him back. Bend him back a bit. Rail. So that's fine, because a road should be able to get over that. And then what I need to do is, there's the rail station, there's the rail lines. There's also at the same time, is that going to... Yes, that actually ironically works, and no parallel, so double. That just allows that to form over. And they've got another cross up there. That's worked actually rather remarkably well. And just to remind us with the roads, so that's going to be a bit of a steep drop, or bit of a steep drop. I might, or you just don't. You just actually, instead of having four, you just have three. So another one. So we shoot back over and go for a 6-laner. And I'm just wondering now, out of curiosity, if that is super interesting. It's actually going to send them around that way. Oh, it's going to do it anyway. What's in the street lighting on that one? Don't I put... Ironic. Yeah, that will work, and you just come over. Which means now what we can do, so we're still fluffing about with rail. It's fine, I don't mind that. Because what we can do is now go back to parallel. Actually, no, not yet. And I shouldn't have that on. No. Yes. Create the stacking room for the... So what I'm doing is creating... I'll just go... I can widen this up. What I'm doing is creating the stacking room for the trains to come in and out. Unfortunately, the cargo terminal I used to use, which had multiple tracks, is being depreciated because of the game updates. So I have to do it to do create marshalling yards. Create that parallel again. Why don't you actually come up? Turn that back off. Ooh, talk about complex interchanges. And then you just demolish that out. I'm just wondering if create a bit of extra room down here before they go down the hill. So what I have to do is, see that there goes the line, so we can. So this actually serves as a de facto. It's on the wrong side too, for that matter. All depends where I want to drop the passenger line. Because if that's... Remember, the wind is also going basically right to left across the map. So you want... See what's going to happen. Although that said, they're going to cross over. Basically, I want them onto that. Actually, no, because that's intercity. That's going out. You want intra-city. You actually want them coming around to move further on out. And we have got these lines here. We don't need them going the other way. No, so it does actually technically work out. So what we will do is bring him back up. This is going to be a bit fun. Wrong one. Try that. Okay. That works fine. Take parallel mode back off for the moment. And then just allow him to ease out. I should be able to. I'm just wondering, is parallel going to allow me to do this, or is it going to absolutely just have kittens? Actually, no. What you do is... Whoops, it would help if I turned it off. Just bring him out. Let's see if I can get him connected to there. Yay! And there we have a marshalling stacking yard because sigh. I've only got one track in and out. Ding dong. So it allows me for 1, 2, 3, 4 cargo lines. Industry will also, although the other way of doing it is keep it, well no, because the industry will all run down and then run back out, because the idea is to get your cargo from here to here and back out to there. So that's what you need to do there. So we've got our first connections up. Oh, the next thing before we go, where we tailored off here, so I'll work more of this off screen. So I've given you the basic foundations of where we're going to go. City centre, industry, urban, mixed urban, probably industry back up here because of where the wind goes, and then you do your little developments on the way out. In fact, if anything, the industry is going to follow the river up as I establish the railway line. So the cargo is going to come actually up and over. They will trundle through the stations and then head on out. So this line here, track here, will serve as a purpose. So this is where we're going to leave it for now. So we will come back in 1.1 where I will continue walking you through the development, especially as we move away from transport into other infrastructure like energy and water. And just to mark that fact, poop on poo. It's going to come all flowing around. What we will do is establish this boy here. That's the sewer line. Treatment basically, this is just while people move in. Once we have enough people, I'll build treatment plants. And just to make sure he's not constantly pumping out water. And this also forms a good emergency usage of. So we've got the settling tank, which reduces not much, but it'll do. It doesn't do much, but it's the best we've got. So the purification rate's just over half. So it's not all doom and gloom sending that out. So, and again, this is just to get us going initially until we get enough people in. So, and produce. It's not a case of affording the treatment plant, it's because we have enough people to work in the treatment plant. We do have the smaller one. Oh, 400,000 square meters. We do have the smaller ones available, which is great. So you can shove one in there, and then you have the big sucker up here as well. Just keep them open, resources. As for fresh water, you can start pretty much straight away here. So I'm likely to put that. Around here now, he does need a road. What I'll do is I'll shove in an extra pump. It's a beautiful map, beautiful terrain, but also a bit. Ooh, that's very steep. This way. Oh, 30%. Never seen that before. That's. Ooh. In fact, if anything, I'm going to move. I mean, that's not the best spot. I'll just have to demolish it. Looks like this one's a little bit better than getting up. %. I think this is the way this map is. Yeah, it's the best I'm going to be able to pull. So we'll just do that again quickly. do have water and sewage in there, but a little bit to go yet before we get going. So this is where we'll leave it. Founding the city is always exceedingly slow, especially if I'm doing commentary on road. So I will do a little bit more founding of the transport system off screen, and then we'll switch back over again to the water energy, and that stuff set up before we can move into the zoning. So this is where we'll leave you with 1.0. 1.1 where we'll be back, as I said, the energy and water, as well as a summary of where we are with transport and why. Because that will influence the zoning. 2.0 will wrap. Looking forward to this map. Very scenic. It's going to be interesting to build, but I do like a good challenge, and I do love very scenic maps. I tend to take the one mountains. Because they look interesting. Flat land, flat land. I am Pelton. We will be back with 1.1. That is the energy water setup, plus the summary of the transport. Fancy, Filter, always remember, it's okay to make mistakes. Just remember they could be somewhat costly. So